Welcome to today's Explainer. We're diving straight into a seriously intense film transcript to see exactly how a routine Overwatch mission turns into a desperate fight for survival. More importantly, we're going to uncover what this teaches us about tactical situational awareness and the fatal cost of communication breakdowns. We'll be looking closely at the tactical comms, the sudden shift in environmental awareness, and that exact heart-stopping moment when the math of a clean extraction just completely falls apart.
Listen to this quote because it sets our hook immediately. One of the operators is looking around, right? He questions that this is really a peacekeeping mission, noting that this shit's awful calm. And the response he gets? Normally there isn't any peace to start with. It's a massive red flag. What starts as a seemingly peaceful observation point is literally a ticking time bomb, perfectly disguising the lethal chaos it's about to unfold.
Part 1. The Illusion of Peace.
So on the ground, these snipers are projecting total calm. I mean, they're casually tracking the movement of 2 men and like 40 goats. They even joke that the goats aren't on anybody's side, so they don't have to shoot them. They're chatting about normal, everyday stuff like Sarah heading off to nursing school next month. But don't let that fool you. Beneath that calm exterior, their tactical mindset is locked in. Notice the precise extraction routes. The grass over the top is their primary, down the road is secondary, and the river is their tertiary backup. And why the river? Because as they point out, no one can track you through the water except the fish. They are completely grounded in their environment, just waiting for their 9 o'clock extraction.
Which brings us to Part 2, the sniper's calculus. Of course, that total control, it doesn't last. The command post radios in a warning about possible hostile forces approaching Sector Bravo deep, and boom, this peaceful Overwatch instantly flips into a highly kinetic environment. The threat they identify is way out there. We're talking a hostile vehicle equipped with a belt-fed weapon, spotted a massive 870 yards away and closing fast. At this point, every single digit, every measurement, literally dictates life or death.
To pull off an impossible extreme distance shot like this, the environmental calculations have to happen in seconds. The spotter calls out a 30-mile-per-hour wind and dictates a wind 3/4 value. The sniper has to drastically push his aim to the left just to compensate for that environmental drift.
You can really feel the kinetic momentum building here as they track the target. They identify landmarks, like a crooked tree at 675 yards, but they hold off. They wait for the absolute perfect kill zone, a 900-yard wide spot on the road. The command is given to hold scope and fire when ready. The shot is taken. It's a confirmed hit. Viper, that's the call sign for our guys on the ground, reports the hostile threat is down. You'd think it's time to pack it up, right?
Well, think again. Part 3. The command post betrayal.
Literally just as they declare mission accomplished, the narrative takes a sharp nosedive into terrifying suspense. Within minutes, this situation escalates so rapidly. At 0902, the command post advises that much larger hostile forces are approaching their sector. Forces that definitely weren't supposed to be anywhere near that close. The spotter remarks that the enemy doesn't know where they are, but immediately follows it up with this grim realization. Well, they might get lucky. And wow, do they get lucky. By 0905, Viper is urgently radioing that their specific position is taking heavy contact. Viper reports they are receiving small arms and indirect fire. Now, as you probably know, the second you bring mortars and artillery into the mix, it completely changes the geometry of the battlefield. It turns a calculated line-of-sight sniper battle into a chaotic, suppressive nightmare from an enemy you can't even see. The stakes just went through the roof.
And here is the ultimate betrayal that defines this entire sequence. On the ground, you have Viper making frantic, totally professional pleas for support and extraction as this ambush just completely overwhelms them. And in response, you get the command post's chilling, bureaucratic detachment. Instead of sending help, the voice in the command center coldly orders to shut it down, rationalizing the abandonment by simply stating, "They're highly trained men, I'm sure they'll get out just fine."
So why on earth would command abandon their own men? Well, the transcript ruthlessly spells it out. This operation is taking place exactly 8 kilometers inside a country they are explicitly not supposed to be in. Because it's an illegal, off-the-books operation deep inside unauthorized territory, these soldiers are suddenly deemed a massive liability. To the command post, maintaining plausible deniability is way more important than the lives of the operators on the ground. Just like that, they become entirely expendable.
Which leads us to Part 4, Trapped Without Air Support.
The situation goes from incredibly bad to completely impossible as we hit the explosive finale. The men are packing up, scrambling to execute their escape plan, assuming they've at least got eyes in the sky to guide them out of the ambush. But then comes this moment of chilling finality. An operator tries to call in, only to realize the channel is completely down. That's impossible, he says. But the horrifying realization sets in fast. They have absolutely zero air support. The command post didn't just ignore their pleas, they literally severed the connection entirely. As the operator grimly states, they left us here.
The whole scenario climaxes on this frantic, terrifying radio chatter. Heat, heat, daddy, daddy, heat. Without comms, without air support, and completely trapped behind enemy lines, an unexpected airborne helicopter threat swoops in for the kill. All that calm mathematics of the sniper's calculus we saw earlier, it's entirely gone, replaced by raw, desperate survival.
And that leaves us with a pretty provocative final thought to wrap up this explainer. This transcript takes us on a wild ride, from quietly observing a herd of goats to an overwhelming, explosive betrayal. In the brutal, unforgiving math of tactical warfare, what happens when you do everything right? You hit your 900-yard targets, you plan out your tertiary river extractions, but ultimately you become the variable that your own command decides to just erase? When the people giving the orders cut your comms link, how do you fight your way out of the impossible? It's definitely something to think about. Thanks for hanging out with me for this breakdown, and as always, keep asking the tough questions.